who is Arizona? And by saying that, I mean, here's a team that if they had won this game, could have really taken control of things and needed a Hail Murray in order to beat Buffalo, and had an opportunity if they could have beaten Tua and Miami earlier in the month, had an opportunity to take over first place then. Are they just a team on the upswing, or do you think they can actually make some considerable hay right here and right now, having seen them now, Troy?
I think that I do think they're on the upswing. I mean, I do feel that they're I don't think they're the best they're going to be. I think they'll continue to be better this year, but I think they easily could make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but I believe that they're probably a year away from really beginning to be the team that I believe that they can be with the personnel that they have. And defensively, I like the players. They got some young players, some really talented, gifted guys that I think are just maybe a year away. But with that being said, I think Kyler Murray here in his second season has done a terrific job. Didn't have his best game, like I said last night, but they have squeaked out some games. It's part of the NFL. We understand that. But the last time these two teams met, that was probably an improbable win for them, the way that they came back at the very end and then won in overtime against Seattle, and the game that they won, another improbable win on Sunday against Buffalo, the way that unfolded. So they're probably about in the best-case scenario where they had hoped to be. As far as their record goes, they still obviously are right in the thick of it. But I think this team's only going to get better. And Kyler Murray, I'm impressed. I mean, when I watch him, he's a unique player. I don't think there's anybody else like him in our game. You can point to someone like Lamar Jackson, but I think when you look at the whole package of Kyler Murray, he's outstanding. And who would have guessed? I mean, I was talking to Joe about it last night before we went on the air, and years ago with the quarterbacks in the college level, there was still the time when you didn't want to run your quarterback in the NFL. You were worried about him getting hit, and I said, well, eventually that has to change because the college game's just not producing pure pocket passers, and it really has. Now, even us as broadcasters, we don't talk anymore about quarterbacks getting hit. It's just kind of part of the deal because these guys are so athletic, and Kyler Murray's he's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and how did you find him talking to him? Because we also saw last night, to me, he was clearly hurt. You were pointing that out. You were pointing that out before I even noticed it because, you are who you are. He was clearly hurt. He was clearly hurt last night. And so you saw how he was trying to perform and fight through it in a big game, not come out or not show any more than he was showing. But when you sat down with him, I'm assuming this is the first time you saw him all year. What'd you find when you chatted with him, Troy?
I like him. I mean, he's a great competitor. I know his history. I'm familiar with him from back when he was playing high school football just up the road here in Allen, Texas, and had a terrific high school career. And then at every level, you just think that, well, how is his game going to translate? And it has. And so I've gotten to the point, Rich, with these guys, with so many players, that when they call into question whether or not they can make it in the NFL, I say, well, if they played at a good school, a big school, and they played against great competition, and they were able to do it in college, there's no reason for me to think they can't do it in the NFL. Those same players are the ones going on to play in the NFL. But I like his competitiveness. I like his desire to be great. I think the key for quarterbacks is, can they get locked in every week? I mean, there's guys who come off the bench and they have good games, or there's quarterbacks who step in and will play well for 2 or 3 weeks. But the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, Drew Brees, these type quarterbacks are guys who can get focused and locked in each and every week. And it's not easy to do, but I think Kyler Murray is also that type of guy. I think he's wired that way. I think he was raised that way with his father. And I marvel because Steve Keim, the general manager, as you know, Rich, there was a lot of risk when he went out and he fired Steve Wilkes after one season and decided that, okay, we're going to make a change. He hires Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of people kind of were confused about that hire. And then on top of that, after giving up the 10th overall pick for Josh Rosen the year before, they decided to make Kyler Murray the number 1 overall. And you say, wow, this organization just seems like they're kind of, treading water. I mean, where are they going? And and it's worked out. And Kingsbury has done a really nice job offensively. He's changed some of his philosophy that's been successful, and then Kyler Murray's proved to be worthy of the number 1 overall pick, and now they seem to be in a good position to build and continue to get better. But I like their offensive personnel, and like I said, I really like some of their young players they have on the defensive side of the ball. And that team is going to continue to, in the music business, they'd say, they're whatever they're ranked with a bullet. And I think they're rising. I really do.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.